Okay, so I decided to do another live stream. I'm able to do a live stream which basically come from the free time that I basically try to choose rather than attending certain events in the weekend or during this Saturday night. So because I just wanted to do as much as personal productivity that I can do during this exchange of my time, because probably next week I will not able to have an everyday free time again unless it was the unintentional one or the one that I didn't expect it before. So yeah, it's just pretty fast that it's been several live stream that I try to create every day, even though some of the days that I basically need to miss because there's basically several meetings that I need to prioritize on in my main job of tasks. So basically I just don't know what kind of things that I basically wanted to talk about. So I just recently finished the good behavior recording because I decided to record it because I knew I basically have a lot of time to do more than once. So I didn't try to do it immediately, just like when I basically tried to do it when I basically didn't know how much of the free time that I can basically have. Usually the one that basically come from the unintentional ones, or the one that I basically didn't expect it before, or actually it is able to be predicted as well how, through the events that basically happen during that time. So yeah, so I basically in the middle of long weekend, the public day off or holidays. So yeah, in early time of the year, so there is actually many public day off or holidays in Indonesia. But sadly, in the end of this year's or in last year or even several years before, it was very little, and most of the day off or holidays actually take parts in the weekend. So that's pretty annoying, including the one of the biggest holiday or day off in Indonesia, which basically take parts in the weekend on the next 2 weeks, which is pretty sad, especially when my company didn't provide additional leave or an exchange to do that, to have some unofficial, or I don't know what kind of the correct word to describe those kind of thing, because I think it has only happened in Indonesia. So I just don't know, but it's okay, since to be honest, work during the time where most people didn't work is actually not that bad, because I used to experience that as well during my first full-time job when I basically still work from office. So it's just feel empty and didn't have so many things to do. Besides, I also didn't have any trip that I want to do as well. So consider it as something that basically try to waste my time rather than just stay at home perhaps. But to be honest, obviously working from home is even better during the time where many people basically take a leave. So because it's just didn't have any difference like any other days, but the busyness is obviously decreased because there's not much many people that currently work during that time. So yeah, it's okay. But just like the reason why I basically need to exchange or try to prefer to not attending today's or tonight's events, which basically are regular events that was held by my big family. But since the family is just getting bigger, there's a lot of childrens, and I don't know, I just feel bored usually during those events. So that's the reason why I decided to not attending this kind of events. And yeah, besides there, it's like pretty reason as well for me to go into the same place, because yeah, there have been several unofficial or unintentional events that was actually take place in the same exact, I don't know, house perhaps. So yeah, but yeah, if you talk about, but sometimes it's just pretty sad at the same time, or when I when I try to explain the real reason why I basically didn't want to go into this kind of event, because it is actually a little bit similar to what many things that I've ever experienced in, I don't know, almost 15 years ago, or almost in 15 years, not 15 years ago, because there are so many experience similar like this that I basically can easily forgot, because at some point I knew that it was basically a pretty simple things that I'm just too sensitive perhaps, or but yeah, at some point I just don't know the reason why I just never really feel satisfied. And I just hope that God will exchange the feeling that I basically had right now with something that basically can make me a better person. So I don't know whether it's actually correct explanation to describe what my actual feeling, but yeah, since for some reason I basically or obviously had a lot of mistakes, and maybe the reason why God gives me this kind of unexpected experience, even though it's basically already predicted, but yeah, probably to overcome all of my past mistakes perhaps. I don't know, just like when I basically think, when will I finally able to achieve a certain result that I basically really dream of, or the things that I basically expected, just like this YouTube channel perhaps. I'm not sure, because yeah, it is actually the only thing that I basically able to do is just try to be patient and getting better every day. Yeah, I don't know. It's just pretty hard, because yeah, I don't know whether I'm able to create another live stream or podcast or whatever that is after this, because I probably wanted to do another good behavior recording again, and then probably if I'm still have some time I will try to do another live stream. But to be honest, it's just pretty hard, because yeah, this at the, just like what I basically already tried to explain previously in many of the previous live stream, if you basically try to listen it. So yeah, man, I'm just suddenly forgot about the things that I basically want to talk about every time that I try to do it, because yeah, I just recently come back from the toilet to, I don't know, dream about or imagine something that I basically want to talk about, but at the time that I already finish doing a natural call and come back into the desk to start this live stream, I just suddenly forgot about those things. Maybe because there are so many things that I actually wanted to talk about, and yeah, it's definitely make me forgot about it instead of able to explain it one by one. Just like the people who basically have a late voice. I don't know whether it's actually the correct definition of those kind of people or not, because I used to had this kind of, I don't know whether it is actually behavior or it's actually a unfortunate characteristic, I'm not sure. So I used to experience that I was asked to read certain sentences during the school, and it's just really struggle for me to read, even though I obviously able to read those easily. But when I try to speak up, it's just hard for me. I don't know whether it's what is actually the reason of those kind of unfortunate, but yeah, at the time that I basically tried to speak up to myself over and over again, I'm actually able to overcome it. And yeah, some of my friends actually still experience those kind of things. The people who basically pretty smart or even smarter than me, maybe because their brain is act faster than their mouth. So yeah, that's the reason why if we try to see the scientific explanation from those kind of phenomenon. So, but yeah, it's actually the things that we all must be grateful of, because yeah, for some reason everybody have their own advantage or abilities that basically different than the others, even though for some reason it's definitely hard for all of us to really find the exact things that we are really good at and can obviously give us those kind of productivity. Because yeah, I've been trying to do this kind of unique things that I'm not sure whether there are other people who basically try to do the same thing like me, but there are some similarities, but there are so many similarities channel that I have a little bit see. I don't know whether it's actually correct things to explain, but yeah, but I'm not sure whether, but of course it's, if you talk about the things that basically similar to me, it's not had a lot of audience, because for some reason many people obviously feel bored to see some people talking about unnecessary stuff that they think they will think initially, perhaps. So yeah, it's already 13 minutes, and I don't know how long that I will try to do this kind of live stream, because I still have a lot of free times, and I'm not sure. So I basically already upload the unboxing and Animoji gaming at the same time, which is basically, yeah, I just don't know whether it will have a views or not. Maybe, even if it has views, sometimes it comes with a dislike as well, which I just don't understand why. Because maybe that's the reason why it's just so hard to bypass into the world of contents, the world where many people provide content every day over and over again. And yeah, I'm just type of people who basically able to do it once in a while, even though yeah, I always try to do it in bulk, because yeah, for some reason it's just making me feel satisfied to overcome the things that I basically already missed in the past. So yeah, because obviously time is cannot be stopped and cannot be rewinded again. So the only thing that you can do is just to do it better, or to do it as best as you can in the future. Yeah, what else? I don't know. Basically, I just don't know what kind of things that I basically wanted to say to myself in order for me to be more motivated. Besides, yeah, I'm actually like to motivate other people's, because I do know that everything's that basically people try to choose with their own life or their own path, it's always happen for a reason, whether it is considered bad or good. But yeah, for some reason we just every people basically have their own improvements that I don't know that we can try to suggest perhaps as their feedback, even though yeah, it's basically hard for some reason, especially when it feels too general, or we just really confident with those kind of behaviors. So yeah, I just don't know, it's just pretty random that I basically try to talk about, and the words seems to be not related one to another. Maybe I just don't know. So yeah, it's already 17 minutes, and the longest podcast or broadcast that I basically do is actually around 26 minutes. So 9 minutes remaining is going to be the longest live stream that I ever done. But I don't know whether it is actually gonna be worthy, or I'm actually able to talk about other things until I finally reach that point or not. So yeah, basically I already receive the some unique things that I basically tried to bought for around $30. It is actually an unboxing video that I maybe will try to process or to create the Animoji after this. Try to move the data from the mirrorless SD card into the OTG drive. So it was several unboxing video that not several, I think it's only 2 unboxing videos, so I guess, or it's actually only one, I'm not sure. But one thing that I actually remember is there is actually more than one package that I basically tried to unbox. So it was the one that comes from overseas, just like as usual, because I still have some unreceived package from overseas that basically pretty cheap, obviously, even though the last package that I just recently bought is actually the most expensive one, I guess, for the last 5 package, or the last more than 5 package. I'm not sure how much package that I basically just recently bought to utilize the free shipping of this marketplace or e-commerce. So the most expensive one is actually had around $3 price, which is pretty cheap, obviously. If I try to compare with the second-hand things that I basically bought in the other, or in my favorite marketplace or e-commerce. So it was a case for the Apple Watch that I bought during my vacation last month, perhaps. So it was the Apple Watch case that can turn the Apple Watch SE into Apple Watch Ultra. I'm not sure whether it will be good or not, but since I basically tried to bought a converter that can turn iPhone 11 camera into iPhone 12 Pro camera, I think it will be a little bit better. Even though I never really wear an Apple Watch, because the Apple Watch that I basically bought more than 6 years ago, I never really unboxed it, and I basically tried to sell it for around $300, which is basically pretty expensive for Apple Watch Series 2, Series 1. But yeah, I just don't know whether I'm, when will it finally able to worth more than what it was used to be. Maybe because I was not properly market as a collector's item, or I don't know whether it was actually pretty common to sell those kind of things. Because yeah, if you talk about the second-hand price, the one that obviously already unboxed is actually was already pretty cheap, so it's only around $150 for the Series 3 Apple Watch. So that's the reason why, maybe because it's already 8th generation ahead, I'm not sure whether it will still work perfectly or not, because I'm actually quite afraid of my recent experience with old stock product. But yeah, it's already happened, and the only thing that I can basically do is just being grateful for what will happen in the future. So I don't know when will I finally unbox it, or whether it will able to be sold to some collectors. I just don't know what will happen in the future. So yeah, I probably wanted to unbox my AirPods first, the one that I never really own, or maybe the one that I basically own just a single, because yeah, I basically own more than one Apple Watch and more than one Apple TV. So that's the three items that I basically tried to bought from last month trip. So yeah, I basically own a replica for the AirPods, but I just don't know where was I basically tried to put, because yeah, it's just pretty cheap. It's only $5 AirPods, which I'm not sure whether I'm already tried to upload the video or not in this channel, or it's actually on my other channels that basically I never really maintain again until a certain point of time that I just don't know. So because yeah, I just wanted to focus on a single channel, but it turns out it's still basically pretty hard, maybe because I was still considered an Indonesian, so the region in Indonesia using English video title is just not good for the SEO. I think that was actually the root cause, but I never really tried to prove it, because I actually wanted to create a dedicated channel for my own native language, but yeah, I just don't know whether it will be worthy or not. So yeah, that's all.